Welcome friends, welcome, namaskar. I welcome you all to this talk, 5 reasons to invite the Surya Bhagawan indoors. So, as a spiritual person, as a yoga practitioner, as an architect and as a common man, this one fact has always been exciting me about the Surya Bhagawan, about the sun and about the magic it covers on all of us. So, the first reason what I'm going to share about it is the traditional reason. See, all our activities, our cultural activities, our traditional activities are designed in the open areas, in the sunlit areas. Why? Because this is one of my inferences. See, our body takes energies from various different sources. One source from food, one source from water, one source from our breathing, one source from the earth, and the other source from the sun. So, that one source from the sun is totally unavoidable and it is very much essential. If there is an imbalance in this energy, it affects our human health in multiple ways. In yoga we say chakra imbalance, in normal medical science we say an imbalance in health and many more things. But a balance of the sun and its energy on us is very essential to us. So that is one reason, and we live in the tropical climate where we have an abundance of sunlight, and our ancestors have always been living in the open areas equally as they have been living in the enclosed areas. We have always been living inside out and outside in. So that shows the relationship our culture and our climate has with our physiological system. Second reason is the physiological reason. See, there is one vitamin which you all know, which is only available from the sun, and that is vitamin D, which you all know. All of us are aware of that. No variety of food can give us vitamin D. It is only the sun, and that is why our traditional activities have been designed for us to be in the outdoors in the early mornings, kite flying and all our games, so that we take the amount of sun possible and maintain the balance of vitamin D. And the problem, the present generation is stuck with iPads and mobile phones, and they are not getting an opportunity, or they are tying themselves being possible to play in the sun. And that is why vitamin D deficiency is one of the biggest challenges of this generation. Since we are not spending much of our time in the outdoors, most of us are most likely to have an imbalance in vitamin D, which is going to affect our health in multiple possible ways. So my humble opinion is, all of us have an opportunity to spend time in the outdoors and in the sun, particularly early morning sun, so that we gain an abundance of vitamin D and maintain a good balance of health. That is the physiological reason. Third one comes my psychological reason. Always our human mind is trained to listen to the fact that light is energy and darkness is a demotivation. Okay, so whenever we enter into a well-lit space, it is a very energetic thing, because our mind is always related to that. Psychology always relates to it. And when we enter into a dark space, it's demotivating. So whenever someone stays in a dark room, consciously or unconsciously, the person gets little demotivated than comparatively staying in a well sunlit space. And that is the relationship our psychology has with the sunlight. And particularly the natural sunlight cannot be matched by any other artificial light. So the psychological reason is this, that whenever we think of light, it is of energy, it is of positivity, it is of optimism, and whenever we think of darkness, it is a negativity. So a well sunlit space has abundance of positive energies. And then comes my fourth reason, the hygiene reason. That's the fourth reason. Okay, all of us know that sunlight is the best disinfectant. No amount of detergent or artificial chemical or liquid, anything can clean a space or a surface compared to sunlight. When a space is well lit by sunlight, it cleans the space of the germs. That is the traditional method, and that is the most sustainable method, and that is going to be the futuristic method as well. Any space which is well lit by the sun is free of germs, and that is why any space in the house which is of a corner where some dampness accumulates and which has no room for sunlight or wind to be coming in contact with that corner, insects develop, germs develop, and it becomes a breeding space for so many insects and becomes a smelling and a foul smell zone. The moment sunlight falls on that space, step by step, these spaces get cleansed. So this is the hygiene reason. And the fifth reason is the energy efficiency reason. Since time immemorial, all our traditional spaces have been lit by sunlight and used the maximum of sunlight. So this is the fifth reason, the energy efficiency reason. See, when we have our spaces, our residences, our offices, our workplaces, or any other dwelling spaces, when these spaces are well lit by the sun, the power consumption comes drastically down. The usage of power comes drastically down. And this is one of the best ways to achieve energy efficiency rather than any other way, because once and for all, this building or a space or your residence is permanently well lit during the daytime by the sun, and the usage of power comes down drastically. We will require to turn on lights only when required, and till 6 in the evening we will not require to use artificial lights. So imagine what an amount of power savings it could be. And the present generation is facing a challenge of fuel, power, pollution, and all these things. And when we adopt these principles of energy efficiency, a well-lit, sunlit space, then we contribute to the environment by cutting down on the power consumption, the pollution, and making the maximum energy efficiency. So these are the 5 reasons, and then now I shall share with you how we can incorporate this in our dwelling spaces, be it our residence, our office, hospitals, and any other spaces. We can do buildings irrespective of small plots, irrespective of the size of the plot, where a building can be brought inside with abundant sunlight, where the entire day hours can be used to get in the maximum use of sunlight, such that all the common areas are well lit, so that our power consumption is very much reduced. See guys, I think this is the most important luxury any space, any dwelling unit, any human being should be given, because any other luxury in terms of materials and finishes can't be compared to the natural sunlight for all the advantages it showers on us. Imagine when our residence, our office is so well lit. I'll come back to the same 5 reasons. We can live the life the way our ancestors have lived, maximum time in sunlight, so that we gain all the energies possible to get a spiritual balance, to get the energy balance which the human system requires. And second thing, when our houses, when we have courtyards, when we have light wells, when we have skylights, okay, we get the opportunity to bring in maximum amount of vitamin D, which is the biggest challenge of this generation. The moment when we say vitamin D is abundant inside a house, kids, even if they are stuck to the indoors, the required vitamin D is achieved. And I will tell you a small incident. Generally, when this happens in most of the houses, generally when some elder person in our house is injured and they are stuck within a room where they are confined to the 4 walls, they will not have sufficient sunlight, and you will notice consciously or unconsciously that their energy levels and their responsive levels are not in balance. And the moment when they start stepping outdoors and start spending time in the sun, like they might be getting some time to sit below a sunlit area, or go for a walk, or watch TV, or read the newspaper. It could be anything. But when they start coming back to the sunlight area, their health comes to a better balance, which no medicine can bring. And this is totally healing without any side effect. So that is the physiological reason. And imagine, I'm coming to the third reason, the psychological reason. Imagine when you enter your house and when you see abundant sunlight falling on you. Imagine the feel versus when you enter a space, your own house, your own office, and when it is dark and when you have to turn on the light to even see who is sitting in front of you. Which one would be a positive response? Irrespective of the site, irrespective of the space. All of us are humans and we use different spaces during various times of the day. So when our spaces are filled with sunlight, imagine the abundant positivity. Imagine the shadows and light which come in a temple when you go to a temple, when you go to palaces. So that is the level of positivity, optimism, which the sunlight and the sunlit spaces inside a house can effortlessly bring to us. And the fourth reason, the hygiene reason. Whenever our houses are well lit, we will not have any corner accumulating with germs, dirt, dampness, and all these things. So imagine a corner in one house which is prone to dampness and disease will spread diseases. And now we are in the era which states again and again that hygiene is very important inside a dwelling space. Beyond all the luxuries, the health, hygiene and the cleanliness plays a very important role. And time has proven it again and again. And still we are facing the effects of COVID and the lockdown. And when a space is well lit and free of germs, we can so happily live in that space, saying that this space is cleansed naturally by the sunlight, after which we will have to do our work. So this is the hygiene reason. And the last one is the energy efficiency reason. Be it a residence or an office or a showroom, whatever space you dwell in or you remodel or you design, make it a point to bring in maximum amount of daylight, so that realistically if you work out the power bills, we can bring down the power consumption. And like we can restrict us to use a few lights rather than all the lights when our sunlight is filling the entire spaces. And then we contribute to the power, we contribute to the reduced pollution levels, and then we contribute to the environment. So these are the 5 reasons which I found worth of sharing. A big thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of you for supporting me. This is the first out of the hundreds of talks which I am going to make, and each session will be coming up with a very interesting topic which will be useful for architects, professionals, common man and for spiritual people. I will try addressing each topic from multiple perspectives such that it is very easy to be understood by various classes of people. So big thank you from the bottom of my heart, and see you soon in my next session. If you have any few questions or your opinions, please do share. I'll be more than happy to read your comments and learn from that. Thank you very much.